Hello again, everyone. Edwin Laird back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about the July 23rd, 2021 full moon in Aquarius transit part 2 of 2. Now, as far as this transit goes, it's important to look at electional aspects this makes at this time, as this could impact the delineation and interpretation. Now, it's going to make an inconjunct aspect to Venus and Virgo, this transit of the full moon in Aquarius. And as I stated before, previously, whether it's in other videos, what have you, inconjuncts can be about adjustments. This could reflect too much of one energy or another. Now, the aspect may manifest into, a lot of, the declaration, really the full moon in Aquarius, that declaration of being, more progressive, future-minded, and independent, and in going, and it can be, in some cases, it can be a work-related situation, especially if it falls in, let's say, the second or sixth or 10th house in the natal chart, because those are the work houses in astrology, and it might be making adjustment with that versus the Venus and Virgo energy, which could be about something monetary or service related, or being in a subordinate position, even something where you've had, maybe, people have had a consistent income, where you've shown reliability, something that's safer. And it can be, worrisome energy trying to go and try and really go after the future. There may be more valuing and worrying in being apprehensive as opposed to moving forward, and that's the challenge, I would say, with this aspect. Now, there might be something um, where there might also be really more valuing and criticizing others, being judgmental of others, as opposed to the expression of being more tolerant to others. And tolerance can be associated with Aquarius, and could be expressed with this full moon in Aquarius and intensified because it is a full moon as opposed to just a regular, transit of the moon. Now, as far as the Sabian symbols go, okay, this is going to fall at 1 degree Aquarius. Now, this could be a degree that might reinforce or reaffirm innovation, inventiveness. It could also be one of more prosperity and affluence as well, completing something that could be Aquarius related, whether it might be something, an innovative product coming out, or could be something with computers or electronics or aerospace, astronomy. Um, it can be something to, looking at this. This could also be a time to, given, again, going back to, Sabian symbols, this could be something where, 1 degree also, well, 1 degree also is a degree of permanency. And it can be about, if one makes the discovery of being cognizant of Aquarius related ability, again, such as astrology, astronomy, computers, innovative ability, um, ability to work on, being an electrician, maybe, meteorologist, could be the start of something that might be enduring and may last for a protracted period. I understand new moons are about new beginnings, but a full moon, I see, can manifest in some cases as being cognizant of something, a revelation or unveiling of something, which could lead to a new beginning. Considering this is at 1 degree Aquarius, the 0 to 1 degrees of fixed signs can indicate more endurance, something that's more sustainable, that keeps going and can last for a very long period. I have on my midheaven, my midheaven is at 1 degree Aquarius. It's kind of like, for me, maybe once the astrologer, once the reputation and public image as an astrologer, always the reputation and public image as an astrologer. Now, another thing too, it's also important to look at see if there's any transits to your natal chart at the time of this full moon, as they could be intensified and amplified at this time because they're taking place at the time of this full moon. Now, I noticed that the transit of Venus in Virgo is going to be making a tight sextile to my natal Mercury and Cancer, and my natal Mercury and Cancer is in the second house of money. Now, this could be auspicious for money, though it may be maybe a frugal Virgo amount, and it can be, given that it's sextile Mercury and Cancer, it could be by being able to extemporize in speech. And through written communication, which wouldn't exclude astrological writings. Now, this coupled with the transit full moon in Aquarius actually going to be conjunct my natal midheaven can be beneficial perhaps for me as an astrology career may go, and maybe getting more some extra notoriety or an exposure as being one. And another thing too I know is, interestingly enough, that transit Venus in Virgo is going to be making at least a loose conjunction to my natal south node in Virgo. Now, this could manifest in going away maybe from a monetary situation that might have been somewhat frugal, and it could be, I don't know if I'd say it could be about reconnecting with a Virgo lover from the past, but I really didn't have one, so it could be a lover from the past that might embody Virgo characteristics, perhaps, but that could be, that's something time will tell, obviously. But anyway, should be an interesting transit. Hold on a moment, people. It's something I gotta look at. Sorry about this little shakiness here with the video. And another thing too, what's important about this transit is that other electional transits will be amplified at this time, since they are taking place at the same time as the full moon in Aquarius transit. There's going to be an opposition between Venus and frugal, even parsimonious Virgo, and Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion in the sign of lethargy, drugs, and alcohol, which is Pisces. Now, the opposition may suggest some exasperation and tension, which may due to not wanting to spend the money, because the Virgo, I'd say Venus and Virgo may be somewhat inhibited in the spending, because it is, a frugal sign, but it could also, but it's going against having the enthusiasm, which is exuberance and enthusiasm is Jupiter, for things that could be connected with alcohol and recreational drugs, and this could be an aspect of indulgence. So it is something to be wary of during this time. And another thing too is that, looking at this, is that now let's say, for example, if this falls in the 12th house of one's natal chart, it may manifest in a number of ways. One way it could be the revelation, maybe of or unveiling of an Aquarius-like hidden adversary, which may be an Aquarius sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies those characteristics. It could even be a friend, somebody you have a friendship with that you thought was one. In some cases, this may be the express and discovery of an unusual mental illness in some isolated cases, but considering we're just talking about a regular full moon, it's not a lunar eclipse, and it's not super moon, that would be very isolated, I would say. And it can be, unusual mental illness as an example could be like that, or something like an alien hand syndrome, and you can confer that on the internet, look that up and elaborate on it. But it could also be the end of a friendship, because the full moons, of course, could be connected with completions, endings, and culminations. An end of a friendship which might be tied into secret sorrows and lead to isolation if you have this in the 12th house, this transit. Now, I thought there was something, I saw something on the internet I thought was interesting, and might be a correlation with this transit. Now, there was something I saw on the web connected with diagnostic imaging. I think it was diagnosticimaging.com, which stated from July 19th to July 23rd, 2021, there was going to be some kind of information regarding diagnostic delay disparities that may be predicated or based on the race of somebody or people. And radiology was mentioned. Radiology can be associated with Aquarius. And remember, July 23rd marks the end of that period of that issue, or that whatever it was for that particular segment for that diagnosticimaging.com, that particular blog. And also, there was something about how the delays can that were diagnostic can affect or impact women with breast cancer. And of course, the breast can be associated with the moon. The moon rules the breast in astrology. Um, Again, radiology can have the connection with Aquarius because computed tomography can be associated with the sign of Aquarius. Since computers can have the correlation with Aquarius, the full moon in astrology can reflect endings. Again, July 23rd is the last day of that online blog or preview for this. And I'm sure more information will be provided about that at some point online on that website. But full moons, again, are about disclosures, revelations, and being cognizant of things. And anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learner saying stay well.